how in the world are we going to be able to filter and control the news? Perfect example. Let's walk it back a little bit to September 30th. The New York Times issued this bombshell report about this leaked audio revealing what Secretary of State John Kerry was telling Syrians behind closed doors. Ooh, you're thinking, wow, this is going to be really good. We're going to get something juicy here. What John Kerry was telling these Syrians behind closed doors, was it different than what he was telling the American people? And it goes on to say, you know, he complained to the small group of Syrian civilians that his diplomacy had not been backed by a serious threat of military force. He was frustrated with his inability to end the Syrian crisis, you know, and they actually go the extra step there and take out these audio clips in this article, basically allowing you to see the juiciest details of this leaked audio. And frankly, none of it's really that juicy at all. Well, fast forward to today, and WorldNet Daily is got the full leaked audio. It's actually coming out of conservative Treehouse blog. It featured portions of Kerry's statements that wasn't featured in the New York Times. In fact, this was much juicier than John Kerry being frustrated over his inability to stop the Syrian crisis. This is actually the fact that Kerry was announcing that regime change was Obama's only objective in Syria. And in fact, the administration not only hoped that ISIS would carry out the task, it gave arms to the jihadist army and its allies. So here indeed, Donald Trump is being made fun of by calling Obama and Hillary Clinton the founders of ISIS. Here in this leaked audio, they are admitting that indeed. And you weren't getting that from the hacks at the New York Times. It's just like when CNN tried to put out that narrative that it was illegal to go and look at the WikiLeaks. Only they could tell you what was in WikiLeaks. And I'm sure we would have gotten to the bottom of all the juiciest details if we would have just allowed CNN to filter through our news. But let's take a listen to what you weren't allowed to hear.
U.S. counterterrorism officials asking, why are ISIS fighters driving so many similar trucks, and where are they getting them from?
Hillary Clinton has described already the meeting in the White House over 2 years ago. Everyone in the national security team recommended arming ISIS.
You are basically saying that even in government at the time, you knew those groups were around, you saw this analysis, and you were arguing against it. But who wasn't listening?
I think the administration.
But what we're trying to do is help Syrians to fight for their own country. And we've been spending a lot of money, a lot of effort to try to help do this. So there's an opposition there. The opposition is doing very well. And if they're not serious, then we will help the opposition more.
Intelligence officials in Pakistan say a local commander from the terrorist network Islamic State has admitted receiving funds transferred via the U.S. He made the confession while being interrogated.
Today, we learned that the same group may now be in possession of a deadly cache of American-made firepower Stinger missiles.
I think it was a willful decision.
A willful decision to go support an insurgency that had Salafists, Al-Qaeda, and the Muslim
Brotherhood. A willful decision to do what they're doing, which you'd have to really ask the president, what is it that he actually is doing?
As I've said before, this aspect of our strategy was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
Now, U.S. military aircraft have dropped ammunition in areas held by ISIL terror group in Iraq. Now, according to volunteer forces who are fighting the terrorists, American helicopters dropped boxes of weapons in Yathrib and Balad districts in the Salahuddin province.
In the last 8 years, Obama completely sold us out to the Communist Chinese, the Saudi Arabians, and others, and launched a program all over the Middle East, Africa, Central Asia, Far Asia, you name it, to put radical jihadis funded by Saudi Arabia as well as NATO in charge. It's now been leaked. Even the New York Times is having to report on it. Obama wanted ISIS to grow, leaked audio, and that's addressing the Syrian opposition. So that's just an example of what we're talking about.
We saw that Daesh was growing in strength, and we thought Assad was threatened. We thought, however, we could probably manage, that Assad might then negotiate. Instead of negotiating, you got Assad. Now you got Putin to support him.